Hey, so this is for everyone who's having any kind of self-esteem issue, whether you're transgender or not, whether you're male or female, it's irrelevant, okay? When you look in the mirror and you feel bad about a feature you have, or you're feeling ugly or fat or too hairy or too whatever, yeah, of course you're gonna interrupt. There you are. Yep, that's you. You're a cat. So whether you're feeling all these different things, negative things about yourself, oh Jesus, so many messages today, so much to do. It's my phone buzzing right there while I'm doing emails. Now I'm about to record some readings and I'm so tired. Oh Lily, be quiet. So whether you're feeling good or bad about yourself, just take a moment and think about the most basic thing that you're overlooking, okay? And I'm going to make it really obvious for you. When you look in the mirror, actually, if you can, look in the mirror right now, or look at the picture of some celebrity or somebody, okay? The immediate response you have is usually one of 3 or 4 things. Is it male or female? Do I find them attractive? And would you replicate with them? Would you reproduce with them? And then it goes into more, societal things of like, I wonder how much money they make. I wonder what this, or I wonder, oh, those clothes look nice. Judgmental things. But the first thing you look at as a human being or whatever species you are is your mind processes gender, which is a fucked up society construct. Nothing in the world has gender. They just have reproductive, or not the kind of gender humans think. They have a reproductive function. So one has the male reproductive function, the other has the female reproductive function. Just like how you describe a flower or a tree, some use male, I think adjectives or verbs, whatever it's called in English. Others use female. So in some languages, like a hammer is described as a male tool, whereas a flower is actually described as a male thing. But like a stove pot or a frying pan is usually described in a female text. Don't ask me why. That's how the languages work. But for you as a human being, or whatever species you are, when you're looking at yourself and you're feeling self-conscious, or you're judging your features in a way, are you judging them as if you're a male attempting to be a female? Or a female attempting to be a male? Are you looking at your nose saying it's a male nose on a female face, or a female nose on a male face, and it makes you feel self-conscious? Or is there some feature on your face that you associate with old age and you're like, oh, I have this feature, therefore I'm old, but inside you feel like you're 20? What is your perception of yourself, first and foremost? Regardless of society, if there was no other living being on the face of the planet anywhere, if you were the last person on Earth or in all of the universe, and you look in a mirror, do you see a female with male characteristics? Do you see a male with female characteristics? Or do you see a divine, perfect being created in exact balance of male and female that is perfect and unique to you? Which one is it? Because if you have any form of self-confidence issues, it's because you're judging yourself as the opposite gender with the opposing features. So sometimes when I'm looking in the mirror and I feel like not so good about myself, It's usually because I'm being too difficult on myself as a woman, and I'm judging my masculine characteristics and thinking that I haven't transitioned enough or that I'm not woman enough. When really, I'm a female with unique characteristics, and I have no right to judge myself in any other way other than I love you. You're beautiful and I love you. So why are you looking in the mirror and saying, oh, you have extra facial hair, therefore, you're not woman enough? Women have facial hair too. You just can't see it usually because they're constantly getting it threaded, waxed, or plucked, or lasered off. Or you see your legs and you're like, oh, my legs are so hairy. But women also have hairy legs. What do you think a lioness is thinking in the jungle? That she needs to shave her legs? She's just living her life. While you're sitting there being vain, thinking how terrible you look and how much you're not happy and how much money you're making and how much this or that, and you're missing the entire point of being human. And then you're listening to like these things on YouTube and you're watching all these thumbnails and you're reading all these things that you don't realize are going into your subconscious. And then they manifest because you have no resistance to them, like when you're watching a recommended or you're scrolling through your subscriptions and you're like, oh, I'm not even reading those don't apply to me. But they do. Those my 500-pound life things you're watching, or like those thumbnails with beards and masculine features, all of that is going in your subconscious. You do realize this, right? I was making another video and it cut off, and I'm going to upload it later, which has a little more on this whole subliminal thing in there. But for now, will you please, 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 please. Wow, it looks so dark in here in this video. It's actually super bright. Will you please just stop judging yourself as a gender? Remember the other video I made, are you a man or a woman? I talk about this in the other video that I'm going to upload later, so I'm not going to go through it again. But what I'm going to say, just to make it brief, is you're both of them. So when you're looking in the mirror, actually, let's backtrack. You're not a man or a woman. You're gender fluid, and you express yourself more in masculine or feminine. Okay? You're not a male or a female. Because male and female were split from an original being that was both male and female. Stuff happened, genetic manipulation happened that split the hermaphrodite being into male and female. And now society doesn't really freaking realize this or comprehend this properly. And they think they're just male and female and they feel incomplete. Because you kind of are. This is why people merge, like husband and wives, girlfriends and girlfriends or whatever. Usually one has more masculine energy, one has more feminine energy, but they both have both. And when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, because spiritually, that's why you're here. To be okay with the way you are in your expression, to feed yourself and fuel yourself and grow yourself into who you are, so that you can come into a sense of completion without another person, without both genitals, without both expressions of yourself, being separate or being the same. You're nurturing a side of you that needs you to nurture it. So stop being so difficult on yourself. When you're looking in the mirror, don't look at a man or a woman. Look at you. You are unique. You are beautiful. You are the only one who looks like you. When someone falls in love with you, they will never, ever, ever be able to love anyone else the way they love you, because you are unique. And when you're thinking terrible things about yourself, would you allow yourself to say them to anyone else in the world? Ever? Would you talk to anybody else the way you allow your thoughts to talk to you? Would you allow anyone else to talk to you the way you talk to yourself? And then you wonder why you're single. Would you be with your partner and have them be depressed, sad, mopey, whining, self-pitying, being completely miserable, being an negative energy vampire, just draining the room dry and just being completely depressed and dark and waiting for somebody to affirm them, validate them, nurture them, nourish them, deal with their mommy issues, pretend that they're their daddy so they can deal with daddy issues, fill the roles of things you should be filling for yourself? Would you sit on that couch and do that with someone? Would you sit there and listen to me crying to you for 3 hours about how ugly I feel? Would you sit there for 24 hours with me, or spend 24 hours and just listen to me bitch about how much I don't like something about myself? Would you? Nobody in their right mind would do that. So why the hell are you doing it to yourself? Why do you behave so malevolently to yourself, but you expect the world to be able to make subliminals or to feed you something or to clothe you or to love you in a way that you're not even doing for yourself? It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, would you speak to Lily the way you allow your thoughts to talk to yourself? Would you speak to that little being and tell her that her fur is too gray and she looks like, a dust ball or something? Or would you tell her how much you love her and she's unique and special and every stripe and strand of hair on her is perfectly designed to express her as herself? Would you put tons of makeup on her and hold her boobs up and put thigh-high things on her and boots and, tights and all these clothes and be like, now she's a woman, now she's a female cat? Is this a male cat or a female cat? Is it? What is it? It's just a cat, right? It's an amazingly kind, loving cat. And you wouldn't judge this cat and be like, this cat's too ugly to be kind to. No one's going to be kind to that cat. No one's going to date that cat. She's like weird and gray and just talks too much. Why would you do that to yourself? Another example being this beautiful picture I found. Is that a man or a woman? Really, look at this. Is this a man or a woman? Do those make her a woman? Does the lack of facial hair make her a woman? What about her broad shoulders? Or her muscular arms? Is it the cheekbones or the facial structure? Is it the length of the fingers or the thinness of the hand? Is that hand a man's hand? Or is it a woman's hand? Is it a woman's because she's wearing a ring? Or is it a man's hand who's wearing a ring? What about how she's standing? Is that a female stance or a male stance? Should we imagine what she has under her skirt to just verify it for us enough so that we can treat her accordingly to society? Or treat him according to society? Because if it's a man dressed as a woman, then there's obviously something wrong, right? And if it's a woman dressed like that, then she's obviously dark and evil and does weird spells, right? I mean, look at her. She got skulls and bones hanging off her ear. She has no irises. She has a crown on. She must be weird, right? What about the people in the background? Is that a man or a woman with shaved hair? Is that a man or is it a woman with short hair and a bulky build wearing a boy's t-shirt? And is that a boy's t-shirt or is it a girl's t-shirt with extra sleeves or shorter sleeves? What about that? Is that a man or a woman? Why is it either one? Now, let's say she goes and stands in front of a mirror, or he goes and stands in front of a mirror, and he's actually a man, and he has such a feminine build that he hates himself for it, because he's too feminine. And then he sits there for a week at your apartment talking to you about how much he hates how feminine he looks. Go ahead. What would you say? Ridiculous, isn't it? And this is what you do to yourself every fucking day. Is this a man or a woman? Do you have any right to judge that? Who gave you the audacity to judge yourself or others based on what some old man on a fucking chair decided to write hundreds of years ago or however long about what a man or a woman is? And in this messed up society, you're actually thinking that you are exempt from conspiracy theories, from genetic manipulation, from subliminal harm, from dark manipulation and magic and intentions, and you think that your life right now is just yours and your thoughts are yours, and you look in the mirror and all you see is someone ugly. Really? If you were the last person on earth, would you be unkind to yourself? If you were the only person on earth with a conscious mind, would you waste your time being cruel to yourself? If you were the only person with a soul, would you spend any moment of your existence feeling sorry for yourself? If you were the only living person in a world of dead people, where your heart was the only one beating and you're the only one who knew what it felt like to feel emotions, and everybody else was just a mindless zombie, would you feel bad? Would you allow your heart to feel bad through it when it's the only heart in creation that feels? If you did, I'd bop you upside your head. You are who you are. You're you. You are God incarnated in human flesh. And I'm not talking about some old man on a throne. God as in the universal, multiversal, omniversal force of creation that is the foundation of all there is, was, and ever will be. It's everything. It is not a person. It is not an entity. It is everything. You are everything in a human body, or whatever body you're in. Your thoughts, this monitor is thoughts. It is conscious. Because thoughts created this, and thoughts have energy, and thoughts are conscious. You are God incarnated in flesh. And you are acting like the devil to yourself. All because society tells you tits mean female, and female means hairless body. And dick means male, and male means a fucked up version of masculinity. There is absolutely very little example of what a healthy, sacred, masculine man looks like. There's also very few actual images of what a sacred, divine, feminine expression looks like. Do you want to know why? Because none of it is actually relevant. Because you, when you connect with yourself, are the sacred expression of masculine and feminine. Not what they tell you. You yourself are that expression. And if you think you're doing something wrong with yourself or you don't feel right, stop hiding. Fix it. If you feel ugly, stop thinking you're ugly and do something that'll help you be more yourself, because you probably feel ugly because you're being inauthentic to yourself. If you were yourself, dressed like yourself, acted like yourself, wore what you want to wear, ate what you want to eat, say what you want to say, and stop filtering yourself because of society, you would actually be happier. Do you think this woman or this man would be healthy and happy and loving themselves if they wore khakis and a white shirt and they just lived in a suburb somewhere and, I don't know, they were transitioning? So they were in between, their own expression of gender. They weren't expressing themselves as who they really are. And they were hiding behind a homogenized, generic version of what a human should look like. Would this person be as happy living at the Gap or Old Navy? Or is this person happier and way more confident, expressing themselves with pointy ears, no irises, braids, beautiful breasts, strong hands and arms? Which one is more healthy and happy? This one, because it is expressing itself as its self. Not as this self, not as that self, not as this self. They are all God incarnate, and each version of that God force is different. If she tried to dress like her or him, she'd be miserable. If she tried to dress like him or her, he or she would be miserable. If he or she tried to dress like he or she would be miserable. So why are you being miserable to yourself in the mirror when you're not dressing like yourself as it is? You want to wear a pink tutu and a tank top and go running around the friggin' grocery store? Go for it. What stops you from the people that shop at Walmart and the things they wear there? What stops you from dressing like an elven queen and going to the post office? Who cares? When you see somebody, like a few weeks ago, I saw somebody in a Batman and Robin, like Robin from Batman and Robin costume, jogging down the street at 7 a.m. I swear to God on this. He was jogging down the hall, down the block in a Robin outfit, and behind him there was a Pink Panther, his girlfriend, I think, or her girlfriend. I don't know what gender they were or whatever. They were wearing costumes. I couldn't tell, and I couldn't tell because it didn't matter. What mattered is they were expressing themselves in a way that is so fun and unique to themselves that I still remember this. I don't remember what I ate 7 days ago, but I remember two people jogging in a Robin and Pink Panther costume. And I couldn't tell which one's male or female, tall or short or any of it. It was just amazing to see another being express itself that way. And of all places, like, oh my God. You guys, if you believe you are a female and you have masculine features, fucking play it up. Be the most badass masculine woman with tits you can be. Put on darken your cheekbones, make it look like you have facial hair, push those tits up, wear a dress shirt or wear whatever the hell you're gonna wear, and hold your head up with confidence. If you're a man who's really effeminate and you're thin and frail and you're healthy but you're thin and frail and like wispy and you have really beautiful elfish features or you're female features, play it up. Get some pointy ears, wear some eyeliner, make your face look even more cat-like. Wear really soft, flowy clothing. Like, be like the wind. If you're a giant macho bodybuilder type and you feel like you're a woman, who cares? Put some lipstick on, do some eyeliner, wear some flowy fabric and be a giant freaking Amazonian bodybuilder. You're the only one who cares about what you look like. Nobody else but you. And for you to be cruel to yourself and say you're ugly, if I was your friend, you'd better run, because I would chase you with a giant bug slapper and just slap you with it until you stop hating yourself. Because I love you, and I've been through that state of feeling too ugly and feeling too masculine and feeling too this or that. And then a few days ago, I had this conversation with my dad, and it was so simple. It was just so simple. You are who you are. You're your own expression. Why do you care what anybody else thinks of you? Why do you care what anyone else thinks you're supposed to look like? Remember this picture? That was me a few months ago when I had longer hair and like my hormones weren't a mess. Is this a male or a female? Now, if this was a male, purely living life as a male and like, you know, wanting a cisgender male, whatever the fuck you want to call it, should this person feel self-conscious because they lack facial hair and a masculine body? As a female, should this person feel self-conscious because they have a masculine nose and like, I don't know, strong shoulders? If I sat next to you, dressed like this, and I told you I feel ugly, or that I feel not good enough, you would think I'm being a spoiled brat, wouldn't you? Because no matter what I look like, I still am healthy. I look decent for myself. I look okay, right? Like I'm not running around disfigured like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And even that being's beautiful because it's the only Hunchback of Notre Dame. But really, how pathetic would it be for me to sit there and say I feel ugly and then cry over it? Hashtag white girl problems, right? Let's do this. I've made a collage for you of Angelina Jolie, Ava Green, Cara Delevingne. What if I told you they're all transgender? What if I told you this is a this is a woman transgendering to a man? What if I told you this is a woman transgendering to a man? Or that this is a man transgendering to a woman? What about if this is a man to woman or woman to man? And now what if these people sat next to you and said they feel ugly? You'd laugh at them, wouldn't you? What if this person sits there looking in the mirror, crying over how they look? You would laugh, wouldn't you? Now, let me clarify something for you with this. What if this person attempted to dress like... Sorry, that's not it. It's a tarot video I was watching. This person. What if this person dressed like this person? Which one of them has the right, like, do you think any one of them would feel comfortable in the other one's clothing? Do you think she would feel comfortable dressed like that? Do you think she would feel comfortable dressed like that? They feel weird, right? It wouldn't feel right to themselves, or maybe it would. Who are you to say? Now, what if this one, with this aesthetic, decided to not do any of this aesthetic and dress like that, and felt that she wanted to be this way and that she hated her skin color? And she sat there telling you how ugly she is, or that he is. Like, let's say this is a man, or male, and you know he has a penis, or whatever your perception of male is. And this one's like, oh, I'm too ugly. I want to look like this, but I hate the way I look here. What if this one's like, oh, I'm too masculine. My jawline is too masculine. My cheeks are too hollow, and you know, my neck is too long, and I don't like it. You'd bust out laughing. Fucking Angelina Jolie having self-esteem issues? Are you kidding me? Cara Delevingne having self-esteem issues? Says who? Now, what if you were confident enough within yourself, like any one of these beautiful beings, to where your gender wasn't relevant? What was relevant is how you're expressing yourself. Then what? You think she feels ugly? She probably does. but not because she is. Because she's beautiful. What if this was a man dressed like Angelina Jolie and it's just a cosplayer? They're cosplaying Angelina Jolie. Have I ran this point enough into your conscious mind to get you to realize how dumb you've been for judging yourself for what you look like? I hope so. Because the problem isn't your gender. The problem is how you view yourself. It doesn't matter what's in between your legs. It doesn't matter how much hair you have or how masculine or feminine your features are. You have a unique beauty that you haven't discovered yet. And when you realize what it is looks good on you, irrelevant of gender, you can look like you're wearing, this or this or that or that or that, and you will knock it out of the park each and every freaking time. Because you're wearing things that accentuate who you are. You're not wearing things to be who you are. Do you think these people's, they wear that to express that they're a woman? Or do you think she wears that because she wants to wear that and looks great on her? Take the question of gender out of it. Look at yourself as a being and then accentuate what you like. What if this makeup was on this face? It would look weird, wouldn't it? Because the coloring is off. So why would you judge yourself based on what she's wearing or how her makeup is when you look like this and you have this kind of makeup or that kind of makeup? And notice how different she looks here to here, and it's the same person. You think this one feels ugly that she doesn't look like this? Or that this one feels less than because she doesn't look like that? Or do you just look at them as three beautiful beings with various expressions? Find your own beauty.